Hello and welcome everyone to Scott Schilling Speaks. I'm your host, Scott Schilling. Excited to have another great show today. Have a great friend that just cares so much about people and really them living their dream. She helps in so many different ways. Serial entrepreneur, an amazing networker, has just been out there to serve people her entire career. Has a magazine, all sorts of different things we're going to learn about today. My friend Melinda Cooper. Melinda, thanks for being here today.
Scott, thank you. Thank you for having me. I love, you and I always laugh. We have a great time. I just love being here and I love talking to your people. What can I say?
Thank you. Greatly appreciate that. So tell us a little bit about, I love the logo, Living the Dream Business. I know you're tremendously committed to that and helping people truly live their dream in their business. Let's talk a little bit about that. Where'd that all come from?
Well, Scott, I don't know if you remember my story. My parents were entrepreneurs, right? I actually hung my parents' first dollar above their door when I was 5, right?
Nice.
They put me up on a ladder. They did the whole bit, and I got to actually push that little thumbnail in, and I got to push it in. Little did I know that meant that now I get to learn to sew, I get to learn to press, I get to learn, for my whole $5 of investment there, I actually got to learn the business from here to there. Gratefully, my parents were very successful, and I'm going to say in their own way. And that's a lot of what people don't get, right? Being successful in business doesn't necessarily mean billions and billions of dollars.
Right.
Right. I always tell everybody I had 7 brothers, right? Which is always interesting when you look at me. I tell everybody, I said, and trust me, I can hold my own. Don't.
Well, if you had 7 brothers, you'd have to.
That's right. With 7, you're going to hold your own, right? But the trick behind it is that, so my parents put all of us through private schools. We all had great education. Most of us, not, the ones that were not stubborn, we went to college. Yeah. And those who were stubborn went their own march, but we're all still together, gratefully. We haven't lost any of us. And, we didn't really lack, right? And during those days, I'd love to tell you that it was just peachy keen, but you learned to budget, you learned to work your hours, you learned to work your shift, balanced life. We were together at the tailor shop, or we were together wherever, and, supporting each other. We just learned that. Because it was about growing the entire circle of life.
Right. Exactly.
Right? And so, unfortunately, I got my education and I moved away from the tailor shop. I will tell you that I did have my own Melinda line when I was 16 years old. And I was so tiny back then.
Weren't we all?
Actually, yes, right. That's right. My mother actually sold it off for me to a kids apparel clothes.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So I actually was like, wow, look at me, a successful business person at 16, right? And it was great because I was also in school and I was doing the things I was supposed to do as a kid growing up. So I was able to do everything because my parents were entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Right? Isn't that what a great education and what a great model to see, to be able to take control of your destiny, by doing the things you love to do.
Yeah, it truly was. But as we got older and my parents said, okay, I don't want to work this hard, I don't want to have to do that, they each took tailoring jobs. Okay. My father was head of all of Saks Fifth Avenue. Nice. Alterations and nationwide, right? So he was all over the place running their tailor shops, telling them how to set it up, how to rearrange, hiring people. So even that, I was like, oh, wow, they've just expanded the tailor shop, right? And my mother did the same thing for Neiman Marcus. And so, I even saw the growth of it that way. I took the safe route. I became safe and not safe. I got married because I knew better than anybody else. We're in love. We're going to do this, right? 2 kids later, my son's 6 months old, and I got a divorce. So I'm a single mom with 2 kids under the age of 2.
Little
right?
challenge.
It was an interesting challenge. And it's funny now that they're in their, I've got a daughter she's 39 and my other one is 38. It's still a challenge.
Yeah,
So, you know,
amazing.
yeah, that some things just don't change, but we just kind of keep going. And so I took a government job, and I always laugh because when people say they want me to start at the bottom, I said, no, let me tell you what the bottom is. Hello, Immigration Naturalization Services. How can I help you? Yes. Hello, Immigration Naturalization Services. How can I help you? And you do that 1,000 times a day, and you don't even want to hear it say hello anymore.
I'm sure, for sure.
you know so I did that, and I walked up the ladder. I finished my degree, and I turned around, and just as I was hitting my sweet spot, I met my husband, and from there it skyrocketed. He supported me. He worked with us together. We all of a sudden we were my parents. We made our goals, we made our dreams, we were hitting it. We were sending our kids to private schools. We were carrying the stress. We were doing everything that I had been taught had now become
That's awesome.
what I was learning, what I was teaching and learning and living with my family. My mother got cancer, so I stopped.
Yeah.
Took care of her, got back, she passed away, got back on my 2 feet with the help of my husband, of course, my family. 2 years later, my father passed away. And all of a sudden, I have a tailor shop. I have a whole nother business. And I was like, I don't want to do this,
Yeah.
But what I did do was turned around and I looked at my government job, and I discovered that I was working with a lot of people who believed that they were important.
That is true, as all people are.
Right? They thought they had reached such a level that they no longer had to look at the little people. And I went, I went ahead, and within 3 months, I want everybody to hear this part of the story. In 3 months, I told my husband, I said, Dad passed away 3 months ago. I said, I want you to know my life changed. And he looked at me and I said, and in 3 months, I'm quitting my job.
Nice.
If you can see a panic-stricken husband who said, really? I mean, he was trying very hard to be supportive, but that really panics, right? So we actually, gratefully at that time, we became debt-free.
Nice.
We had managed to keep ourselves somewhat contained, shall we call it. And so we became debt-free. I froze my retirement and I walked out the door.
Nice. Live your
That was
dream.
that 9 years ago. And I said, my husband said, okay, now, and everybody said, now what are you going to do? And I realized what I loved doing was strategically helping other people really do what they love.
Yeah.
To see the light in the heart inside of them, just, whew, it's like, what is that song on Gigi? I'm a song people, I'm a movie people, right? And it's Gigi, and the guy says, well, have I been standing way too close? Have I been standing too far? How did not see you blossom into a flower?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I guess that for me, that's what it is, Scott. I'm standing with them and I can see them. I'm like, you're a flower. Get out from under the grass.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what people need. I mean, that's one of the things that I love about this and what we're doing with the new broadcast network is literally being able to share messages and not only share the messages, but have them be heard by the people who need to hear them and be able to give people a voice in a new and better and different way. And that's what's so exciting about being able to talk to people whose heart goes pitter pat when they talk about what they do.
And Scott, that's to me, and I'm sure you've seen it in me. I'm like, oh yes. And you know what? Let me tell you what else I see and how I can help you, because I get so excited. Right. And I've even had somebody say, Melinda, do you know that when you kick into that extra energy or that extra, whatever you're doing, that you pick up speed? And I started laughing and I said, I guess I hadn't realized that. It's just that I get so excited.
Yeah.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I totally get that, when you're excited about doing it, that's why I say I love doing these shows, and I love giving people a platform to be able to talk about their hearts, their dreams, their desires, what they want to do, why they want to do it, just all those important things, because so many people, well, like I said earlier, everybody is important.
That's right.
Everybody's got a role to play. And if we can help them achieve their genius, it's interesting. A friend is speaking to a large group today, and I said, they'll be blessed by your genius, on his post. And he said, what a nice thing to say. And I said, well, they will be. Why should it be so out of the ordinary to treat people with respect, honor, and dignity? But
that's right.
Why not lift them up? Why not, encourage them to do their best? And that's what I love about what you're doing with Live the Dream, and, the groups that you set up, the magazine, everything is about helping people achieve and live that dream. Why is that so important?
To me, inside each and every one of us, period. I'm not just going to say you and me. I'm talking about every single person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer that we were brought on this earth, or we came, or we just poofed in the sky, whatever you happen to believe, right? It's the fact that you came here with a special, something so special, so unique, that only you can fulfill.
True.
Right? I can never be a Scott. Okay. I may one day, in earnest, hopefully, God willing, I'll become well known and become a speaker as well as you are. If that's, I be honest, I would be going, yay me, right? but if I could be that, I would be a Scott. But I don't have to be a Scott to reach people.
Right.
Okay. I can be Melinda and still do my little bit. Right. And I believe that when people are really I'm going to call it in the flow, in the true journey of where they're going, that they can't hide what you call the genius.
Right. I'd agree.
It's like, I always like the where they say the rose from underneath the snow comes up. Right. I have a Christmas plant that somebody gave me, Christmas cactus that somebody gave me 4 years ago. They gave it to me for Christmas, big surprise. And they told me, Melinda, it's only going to bloom once a year. Okay. So I put it aside, I fix it up, do everything I'm supposed to. I still have not moved it out of the same planter I was received it. And I want you to know that that doggone thing blooms 4 times a year.
Interesting.
And I send them little flowers and say, here's the first bloom. Then I send them the next, okay, here's the second, right? And they're like, Melinda. I said, what do you do to it? I said, I give it water.
Yeah.
That's all I do to it. I just give it water. I'm not one of those who replant. I already told you it's in the same spot, and I just clean it, move it around. I wash the leaves and I do that once a month, and I only give it water once a month. It's a cactus.
Yeah.
But it's so beautiful. And it's decided, I like Melinda's house, I'm going to bloom 4 times a year.
Well, I think that actually a potentially really awesome metaphor, that if we can invest in people. Like I say, one of the things we're doing with the Be Connected Broadcast Network is allowing people's stories to be told.
That's
And
right.
when they tell the stories, um, it it not only validates the story, right? It gives them a confirmation for themselves. But I think that you find out how interesting and how wonderful and how amazing people really are. And their dreams are just as valid as your dreams,
That's right.
you know, and everything back and forth. And that's why, again, I love what you're doing with the kind of the live the dream movement, concept of, you know, getting people out of their own stuff,
Right.
so to
Yeah.
say,
You
right?
know, for me, I'm like, stop putting that block in front of you. You don't
Yeah,
need that block anymore. Get it out of the way. You don't need it. One of the things that has been echoing lately for me is the fact that, you know what, when you have an idea, okay, the first thing you have to ask is, what are you solving?
yeah, good point.
Right? Because I've discovered through the years of working with people and watching, I'm an observer and watching that unless you're solving a problem or at least becoming part of the solution, you're really not working with anybody else. It's all about you,
True.
right? But when you're helping to solve an issue or become part of the solution, okay, you don't have to have the whole pie. Maybe I'm the one who brings in the extra berries. Maybe I'm the one who brings in, maybe I'm the one who say, you know who you need to know? You need to know Scott. And I say that often on my pages.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, okay, you know what? You need Scott. That's the man, right? Dean, all those other people that I know are doing their dreams.
Right.
Right. Because I don't have to be the only person if I can be the wheelbarrow that takes you to the next person.
Exactly. Well, and again, I think that that comes with living from abundance as opposed to scarcity.
Right.
And I know it's been a scary time for many people. The last year and a half has been so unpredictable. And when I did finally get in front of a live audience again, I said, by a show of hands, how many of you planned for a worldwide pandemic in your business plan this past year?
That's right. That's right.
And nobody raised their hand. And I was like, I don't know if you're just shy or you won't tell the truth. But we all are facing something different, something that we haven't faced. And it gives us the opportunity to look inward and look outward at what could we do, um, better, different, just in a way to be of service to other people, to give them that opportunity. There's still plenty of abundance. It still exists. It's just, you know, changed hats here and there, you know, moved around.
Well, it's funny. I tell people this all the time. As I said, I was raised with 7 brothers, so I get it. I get it from the men's side. I was very competitive. I was an athlete all my life. I'll give you a little proud moment. I bowled my first 300 when I was 16.
Awesome.
So I was a very competitive, you want to do it, let's do it type of person, right? And I noticed as coming up, and gratefully I've seen the change, but when I worked in the corporate world and I was dealing with women and I needed a connection, right? The women would say, well, let me reach out to them and see if it's okay that I connect you.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that sweet, right?
Yeah.
And when I worked with the men, they would say, here's the number. And they'd flash it to me or they send it on email and it was there waiting on me. And that's what I was accustomed to, being raised with 7 brothers. Here, you want it? Just take it and go on. Get your job done, right? And I know that you have seen me do this. We have been places and I'll say, oh, I have that connection here. Right then and there, I pull out my phone and I send it to you. And if I can get the door open faster than you, and I've done it, I'll pick up the phone and say, hey, I have this friend, he needs this or he needs that, make the connection.
Right.
Right. And I think that when people understand that, that's because I don't need 2 billion people off of Facebook,
Right.
right? I don't need 2 billion because you know what? I don't want to work that hard.
Yeah.
You know,
That makes sense. That's true.
you know, I want to have to work that hard. I want to be able to have my family. I want to be able to enjoy my new granddaughter, all these things. So I don't need all of 2 billion. But if I can take just my little portion and then help you with all the others, I'm in it.
Yeah.
Because then I have mine, you have yours, and now we're a big piece pizza together, blending, working, and bringing what we all need to the same table.
So what are you doing with Live the Dream? I know you've got the magazine, the other things. What's your goal with the magazine and with everything that you're doing these days?
Well, the magazine, of course, that's my baby. That's where I first started. And the magazine is just like your show, Scott. To be honest with you, I'm very honored to be here once again. It's the idea that when entrepreneurs need a place to be seen, because if you're not being seen, you're not doing business. And
Right.
it becomes a very expensive hobby. I don't
Correct.
care what anybody. You're either in business, you're going to be seen and you're going to make money, or it's very expensive. So don't get into the hobby, right? So I use the magazine to still promote and help other people and see how I can get their message to go out a little bit further. Gratefully, the magazine is now covering 27 countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, gratefully. Yeah, I shame on myself. I hadn't looked in a while. I was like, it's been the pandemic. Everybody's been too busy. And I looked and we covered 27 countries. Okay. So I'm very happy with that. And thank you for your last article
My
that you
pleasure.
added into it. I'm always honored when you give us an article. So I still do the article. Right now, I've been kind of laying low because I was doing one-on-one coaching and I wanted to help people who were really right at the brink, right? But I discovered that when I'm doing the one-on-one, I'm very limited in my time.
Right.
Okay. So I'm switching over, making the jump, and I'm going from one-to-one coaching into, and it's called biz marketing. And this go round, this rotation is called the Smarter Framework. And what it is I am now going to help all those magnificent people who had the courage to jump out there during the pandemic and to find themselves a business, get themselves a niche, to start getting their feet wet. Some jumped into the 6-foot deep water. It doesn't matter. But now they need those solid foundations so they can explode.
Yeah. I call them either incidental or accidental entrepreneurs.
Right.
Some had the plan and the choice and were following their heart, and some were just going, oh my God, I got to do something.
That's right. That's right. And many of them jumped in, and I commend them. I did that as well. But now we have to learn how to tread water and really start making that baby run. Because I tell people all the time, this is called living the dream and not your nightmare.
Yeah.
Because so many people jump in and either they invest enough money, they've already started the process. And what happens is they're like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Well, they hate it because now it's a nightmare. They don't have everything in order, or they don't have enough people to help them, or those who said they were going to help them discovered that, oh God, the pandemic hit their house as well. So they had to go and jump and grab a rope and try to figure out how to still make that work as well. So it became people's nightmares.
So is part of what you're doing now helping them clarify the dream so that it doesn't become a nightmare?
It is part of it. It's going to sit there and say, you know what, you have a great idea. And I commend you for taking off like a rocket. But now we have to go ahead and say where that rocket's going.
Right.
We have to see who you really want to talk to.
Yeah.
I want you to know, and I'm going to say it loud and clear here, Scott, because I always love this statement. I have people, I'll say, so who do you serve? Who could use your solution? And I always love it. And my son said it to me the other day, and I was like, are you kidding me? He said, everyone. I looked at him and I said, did you just say that to me? And he said, Mom, everyone needs, if they're in business, they need what I'm going to give them. I looked at him and I smiled real big and I said, the homeless person down the street could be in business. I want to bet that he does not need what you have. And he looked at me. I said, no, I want you to know who you want to work with, because you are not everyone's coach and not everyone's client.
True.
Please recognize that there is a coach, there's a mentor, and there's a client for every single person out there that's in business.
Yeah. Everyone and anyone is not a market.
That's right.
I hear that a fair amount from stage, and people are like, oh no, anybody can. No, that's not, it's just not the way it is.
That's
Many
right.
people, many is fine. Any, not so good. So
no, I hear everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So we're coming close on time. How about last great words of wisdom for everybody here?
Oh, wow. I could go two different ways on this, but I'm gonna go like this. Are we ready?
Sure.
I want you to take a moment and see yourself in front of an open beach. And the goal is the yacht that's deep down at the beach on the other side of the ocean. And I want you to realize that as you're sitting there, there are obstacles that only you put there. You're the only one who put them there, and you're the only one who believes that they're there. And as you're there, I want you to take a moment and start walking the beach and recognizing that you can clear the path to get to that biggest goal that seems so far away right now.
That's awesome. Love it. So how does everybody get a hold of you? What's the best way?
The best way is right now is Facebook. I'm going to tell you, I'm changing platforms. I'm changing websites. Everything is going to be go by Monday, they say, right? But Facebook, I'm Melinda Cooper. I'm livingthedreambusiness.com. You can always reach my email at melinda@livingthedreambusiness.com. I always take good, if you hit me with a message, I actually answer. May take me 24 hours, but I actually do answer. People will ask me questions there. I have no problem in answering a question if I have the information.
That's awesome.
And yeah, and if I don't, trust me, I'm going to do my best to find the right person for you, because we're all in this together. And the only way things are going to get better is if we keep working together.
Absolutely. I think that's well said. Again, another reason for Scott Schilling Speaks is not about me speaking. Quite frankly, it's about giving everybody else their voice and helping them claim their place in this grand redesign that's going on right now, and making sure that everybody has the ability to speak their truth and do the very best they possibly can to truly live their dream. And if that's in their business, so be it. And if it's in life, so be it there as well. Melinda, thank you for being here today. Greatly appreciate it.
Scott,
always fun. Always
sending you positive energies. Thank you. I can't tell you, I have so much fun. Folks, you need to know Scott. You need to get out there, reach to him, make the connection. If you don't have it, go out there and get it. Scott, it's always an honor to work with you and just to be your friend. I enjoy it.
Greatly appreciated. I agree totally. Thanks for joining us here on Scott Schilling Speaks. Join us again tomorrow, same time. See you soon. God bless.